moving to the cloud. This is always gold.
Always gold.
Welcome, welcome, with your hosts, two incredibly anxious women approaching 40, here to claim our audacity by being the ultimate sayers of truth and judging your social behavior. And I
Step
figured
forth
it
and be
out.
judged. What did you figure out?
It's the finders of fact.
Oh, finders of fact. Very legal term. I love it.
That's what I was thinking this whole time.
Finders of fact.
And not two of those AIs told me that could connect those dots
You know,
of
something only humans can do.
what is this mind. It took me time, but I figured it out.
I love it. Finders of fact. That's us.
And
And you know
slayers
what a
of truth.
finder and sayers of truth. Finders of fact and sayers of truth. And you know who the finders of fact are in the legal system?
The
Either,
jurist.
that's right, either the jury or the judge, depending. So that's us. We are your judge and your jury.
That's right. And you would never want your judge, no, your finders of fact to be your judge if it was Beverly Cannoni.
So which one is that? Is she the one that
She's a corrupt piece of shit. In
in with the Karen Reed?
Massachusetts, yes.
Oh,
Yes, yes. That, but she actually did have, I'm forgetting what the term is. What is it when you have the judge? Uh,
what do you mean have?
have the judge like be the finder of fact,
Oh,
be your jurist.
a bench trial?
Bench trial, yes.
Yeah.
She did a bench trial and
Okay.
found this woman not guilty of everything.
Well,
So
honestly,
possible.
there's definitely a strategy about when you want the jury to decide and when you want the judge to decide. If it's like a specific like eccentric like point of law, you want it to be a judge. But if it's about vibes, you want it to be a jury.
I am now thinking the jury selection is about the only thing that matters in a
Truly.
trial
If
because
yeah, that's
if,
it. They're literally the ones that are going to make the decision.
yeah. So if you, well, it depends on the case, but it's like so dumb if you think about it too hard, like, you know?
Honestly, I've seen, and you have too, so you know this, but I've witnessed many jury trials in my life, and the fact that juries make decisions about things is actually crazy.
It's crazy
It's like
because
actually crazy.
of the personalities you could have in there that
You
like
have no
manipulate
idea
others
what they're
or
saying back there. They might not even be going by the law. It doesn't matter. What they decide is what the rule is or
yeah.
what the conclusion is. What even if they went back there and they were like, we don't care about this law. We think it's stupid, so we're not going to follow it." Like they can do that. And so,
Yeah.
of course, like, I guess maybe the advantage to having a jury as part of that, the options for someone is that it could be like, this is an unjust law and it's, I'm going to be taken down and we can all kind of, anybody that was looking would see that this is ridiculous.
Nullification.
Jury nullification. Exactly.
GG.
If I ever get on a criminal jury, which I won't because they don't ever want
You
practice
could.
lawyers on the jury, I feel
You
like they
could.
never pick.
Karen Reed. First
She's an
in
attorney.
no, no, I'm sorry. In the first trial, she had an attorney as on her jury, and she was an alternate and was not picked or was kicked off. And she now is an attorney for Karen Reed.
No way.
Yes, it is. Have you ever heard of that?
I
Her
haven't.
statement she wrote is you should read it. It's beautiful. I mean, you can tell she's an attorney and she's like, I went into this having faith in our system
Yeah.
because I'm an attorney
Yeah. That's crazy.
and I, I don't feel that way. Like,
Yeah.
so I mean, maybe it's largely symbolic, but certainly um I don't know, how can you spend that?
I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, there's that case is crazy to me because like they're again, we've talked about this already, but again, like the standard in a criminal trial is the highest evidentiary standard under the law. And people, I don't think, and I understand why, but, like, don't necessarily understand what it really means, because I think a lot more people would be found not guilty when they go to trial
But
because,
don't
like,
they explain it? The
they
judge?
explain it, but they explain it like, you know, they don't talk plain, you know what I'm saying? Like, they say it
Yeah.
in lawyer speak, they say it in this talk that is, like, so obscure, and the reality is, like, this person, the state, this prosecutor has the total burden. There is literally 0
Yeah.
burden on the defendant to show anything. They could just sit there and not do anything and still be found not guilty if the prosecutor doesn't show you enough evidence for you to think this is the only thing that could reasonably have happened. And that's really high standard, but nobody understands it that way, and
No.
people get found guilty. Anyway, I what I watched about
It's
Karen
the
Reed.
difference between, I think, like when people tell you, say you want a lawyer, say you want a lawyer, and you
Right.
get pulled over for a DUI, or I don't know, it's just people assume that it's like it is in the movie. I don't know. You get
Yes,
people
that's
on the
right.
you get people
People
on
think
the
that it's
jury
what's in
that
the
aren't
movies.
listening to that, and they
Yeah.
think that the prosecutor is correct, and they're
Yeah,
going to tell you all the truth, and they'll take
that's right.
everything that they're not
Literally
listening to those rules. They're not like,
no, and I think that's why one of the reasons why it's inherently unfair, if I were Black, I probably would want a bench trial most of the time.
yes,
You know what I
yes,
mean? Like, and that's just the truth because people are all are coming to the jury box with their whole humanity, their entire
yep,
identity. They're not leaving the fact that they're racist pieces of shit at the door or that they hate women at the door or that
right.
they're taking that in and looking at the defendant and saying, "I don't like that guy."
And they're
And
going to
they're not
talk
listening
in their
to
neighbor
the
into their opinion too.
yeah. Yeah, honestly, the
Rude.
system is fucked up. And,
Scary.
anyway.
Yeah.
But Karen Reed, they have not shown that she's guilty beyond
I
a reasonable.
watched that trial before getting into the background drama, or just the circus, like media circus, just the trial. Because I
Mm,
watch trials.
I love that about you, by the way.
And I was like, this is this is a joke, right?
Yeah,
This is
right?
like the
It's
show,
kinda
the jury, like
terrifying.
it wasn't, I could tell from an unbiased point of view that there was something very, very wrong, that there was
Sure.
way too many people lying. It was very
Yeah,
obvious. And
yeah.
then now, you know, there's so much more to that. But anywho's,
Well, and it's funny because before we hit record, before Adrian hit record, we were I was literally about to we were about to launch into an entirely different conversation because I was about to ask you what the difference between the S and the N were in the Myers-Briggs, personality thing.
and what did I say?
You hadn't then I was like, "But you have to hit record because this conversation is gold." So you
Oh, oh,
hadn't
because of birthdays.
Oh,
And
yes.
yes, that's what I figured out. So, like, I don't give a shit about my birthday, and like I care to an extent. I care about you,
Right.
but I don't, like, I have to force wanting to celebrate other people. And I realized that it's my intuitive nature. Only
Mm.
because, and you just agreed. So we're
Yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
visionary. We're more, I think of it as like 30-foot view. You're
Yeah,
looking
right.
down. You
These
like to
things
talk
don't
about
matter. These little
philosophy.
things. Yeah, yeah,
We
that's
wouldn't
right.
be on this podcast with a sensor. Okay.
We wouldn't be the finders of fact and the sayers of truth if we were S's, you all.
They would be like, what is the point of this? Okay. So they like concrete shit, and
They're
they're
more
very down to
concrete.
earth. They're practical, detail oriented.
I wanna know what everyone's is. I wanna know what Karen's
Yes.
is, I wanna know what Callan's is,
I've
I wanna know
I
what
put
Jane's is.
I have all the people in my life like a chart of what I've come to gather.
That's
Some I've
amazing,
like made take it, others then you can start interpreting over time. There's
right?
like certain questions, just breaking down the letters, but intuitive like us.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm
future
an E.
oriented to like abstract,
Oh,
like we can
intuitive,
talk
sorry.
about
Yeah, right,
philosophical
right,
conversations.
right.
more theories. And
Right.
I just, I realized too, growing up with a bunch of censors, like just that blank stare of like,
What are you talking
what are
about?
you talking about?
Well, and then
And
I
like,
think the
why
other
does it
side,
matter? And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, let's talk about the weather.
right? Well, I think the other side that I've seen, I think Eric has to be an S because like he gets very frustrated with me. And this is kind of what we were talking about earlier, you and I, about
You can be
details.
both, baby.
Yeah,
That's
I mean
what's
it's
confusing about, because think
like
about it,
an
introvert,
ambivert kind of. Yeah.
exactly. And
Right. I
I
mean,
did get
nobody's
confused.
probably just one or just the other.
No.
It's like it's like anything else in the world and it's like
Yes.
a spectrum.
I didn't
But
know that for a while, and I was so it's more of like you just lean more towards
yeah,
one.
that's
And then
right.
you can
Well,
also fluctuate, but
yeah, that's true.
because I was like, man, I'm a lot of a sensor, like I'm very
Mm,
practical, like
mm,
I am very down to earth and I do like concrete
mm.
things, but
It-
I think that's in certain aspects of my
Yeah,
life.
sure.
I'm more
Sure.
of a sensor. And then, when I got on a pod, we can talk about it
And all the way,
all.
baby.
Everyone's an
I'm an
asshole.
ENFP, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
this podcast is so J. So I'm coming out of my like judgment instead of perceiving, right?
This actually podcast is more,
Oh,
I would
excuse
say
me.
it's more P.
You think it's more P than J when we're literally judging people?
That's the difference. So that's why I hate these terms. So it's not
Oh, so I have it wrong. Tell
judging.
me.
That's not what it means,
Tell me, tell me, tell me.
like a judgment. I don't know why they call it that,
What do you think
but
it should be called?
it's more in like decision making and like
Mhm.
you are very comfortable with spontaneity and you might
Yes,
even like crave it.
I prefer it.
I am uncomfortable. I'm the J. Let's not say
Oh,
judging because again, I don't know why it's called
wow.
that.
That doesn't make
But
any
it's
sense.
right. And oh, like belligerent. You nah, stretch. But it is more you just like routines and that one I think is almost the
Ah.
easiest one to tell of
Oh,
someone
yeah.
off the bat
And
because
that's
yeah.
probably less of a spectrum. People are probably more extremities on that one than in the middle. There's probably a lot
Yeah.
more neutral space in the other sort of points than this one is a little bit of a dichotomy to
Yeah.
me. Like you
Yes.
either
And
like surprises and spontaneity or you don't. You either like plans and you want to stick to the rules or you don't. There's not a
think
lot
about our only difference
is that.
like yeah. And like I do lean, I mean, I've gotten 60/40 on more introverted, but
Mm.
I've
Ah,
always thought it was like 80/20.
mm,
But but
yeah,
I think it fluctuates too.
of
But and I
course.
think there's trauma. So
Yeah, well,
there
yeah, yes, that's right. I used to
and
be like
that I mean, I
100,
know that.
100 introvert, 0, I mean, excuse me, extrovert, 0 introvert. And now in my life now, I am much closer. I'm
Yes.
much closer than
Yes.
I
And
was.
also everyone is an asshole.
Yes. Okay, let's
So
that I love that. Bring it back. Bring it
yeah,
back. Way to
circle back.
go, Adrian.
Yeah. Mm.
So, do you want
Yes.
to start us off? Because I started us off last.
That's right.
Ep-
Okay. I love this. I was very excited about this. So am I the asshole for telling my wife we either share our lotto winnings or we separate and I get half anyways? Advice needed.
What? First of all,
It's
I have so
so
many
many
questions.
layered.
Is it
Oh,
still going?
oh
Oh,
yeah,
that's the title. That's the literal title.
that's the title, dog. Buckle up,
Okay, okay,
buttercup.
I'm ready. I can't wait. I can't wait.
I My wife and I are extremely fortunate to have won a decent amount of money from the
You have
lotto.
to tell us, Guy. Come on. Okay, go ahead.
It wasn't the top prize, but it was
Okay.
enough to pay off our sizable mortgage and still have some left over for vacations.
Amazing.
So the mortgage was by far the biggest cost. And with that gone, we could both comfortably cut our hours back to work only school hours and spend some more time with our kids. And
Great.
that's like the American dream.
Honestly, that's what people want.
Yeah. And he said this was always a daydream we spoke about when we bought lotto tickets. I assumed this is what we would both do. When we got the money and paid off our house, everything almost immediately turned bad. My wife started talking about how amazing it's going to be finally not having to work anymore. I was blindsided by this. Even with the mortgage gone, we would still have to work at least school hours to keep our current standard of living. And on my salary alone, things would be tight. I asked if she was serious, and she said, of course. It was her ticket and she gets to decide.
Oh shit.
This is BS because we both bought lotto tickets before, and when we moved in together, we only bought one because two seemed like a waste of money.
Okay.
Question there.
Yeah.
But I tried to reason with her, say she could use some of the extra to take some unpaid leave here and there, but she needs to keep her job. When I said, if I'm only working school hours, she absolutely flipped and started accusing me of being a gold digger and ruining this for her. How she
Wow.
deserved it after
Wow.
working so much of her life, etc. I asked her for a pause because I was honestly afraid. She's never been like this before. The next few days, we tried to have this conversation again, but she didn't budge an inch. And when she said, well, it doesn't matter now because I'm putting in my notice at work, I lost it and told her I'm not going through with this. If she's not going to share the winnings, which is under both of our names, I'll divorce her and get half through the house and therefore half the winnings, anyways. This started another screaming match where she continued to call me a gold digger. I'm absolutely exhausted and lost. I feel like my wife has been replaced by an imposter. I would have preferred not winning if I knew this was going to happen.
Oh my God.
This is why I'm
Can I just
always
start with that?
hesitant to talk about the what if we won the lottery question
Oh
because deep
my
down I know it's terrible.
God. I was about to say this is a prime example of winning the lottery, ruining your life, and actually being a monkey paw. And I do want to pause and note for our listeners that we recently purchased lottery tickets together as a group, didn't we?
That was a bad idea.
I mean, we lost.
Nothing was in writing. I mean,
It would just
friendships
be
ruined.
everybody would but this is bringing up what you're saying, like, I mean, okay, I think and by we just bought lottery tickets, it's me, Adrienne, and all of our good girlfriends, and G Jenna,
Yes.
who is also one of my best girlfriends. I was the one that went down to the 7-Eleven and got it. That's why we have that
She's a
ragtag group.
soldier.
I what can I say? What can I say? This is insane. I wanna hear from the wife because part of me is
Oh, yeah.
like, "What?" Because, okay, I'm gonna be real with you, I don't really trust men very much, and so I kind of feel I do have to pause and be like,
Yes. I want you to
is
pause because I
credible?
want, unless you want to,
Is there more information?
no, no.
No.
I
Well, because if
no,
I just go
you're
on
on the
that
same track. I wanted to
okay,
protect you. Continue,
if
continue.
I believe what he is saying
Hmm.
to be true, all of it, then she's obviously the asshole. Like, you've spoken about it before, you're married, you have kids, you created a life together. Like, just because this time you're the one whose dollars bought the lottery ticket, do not like in my mind, what really won this lottery was kind of the combination of all of the lottery tickets that they've won, because who knows which one was gonna be the
Right,
winner.
right.
And she just happened to randomly
That's
be
the unspoken rule.
it's the unspoken rule. If
Yeah.
you're going back and forth, we're gonna share this halves not even halvesies, and that's the thing that I'm like,
The
it's
unspoken
just
rule. Remember that.
and that's the problem. That's the problem, is that
Yep.
it's I'm gonna get start I did tell Eric, I have things that I'm gonna put in writing that I'm gonna make him sign and notarize, but anyway,
Okay,
off
so
topic.
this is that why passivity is the
I
silent
see,
killer, the
I see.
unspoken rule. Okay, so
Assumptions make an ass out of you and me.
now I don't know this is fact. I mean, this is my opinion, which of course is fact. And the sayers of truth here, but
Right. That's right.
I at first read this and was like immediately like, oh my God, the wife, like, oh, it sounds awful because you're reading it from his
Of
perspective.
course, yeah. Right.
And
And
I
he paints a
don't
pretty
think
clear
he's
picture.
lying.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I don't even think, I think he's telling the truth. I think she was probably matter of fact. But here's
Mhm.
the thing. I think that if I were to assume, which could make an ass out of me, that she probably has been just resenting quietly all of
Uh,
the emotional labor she's been
oh, yes,
putting
yes.
in for years because
She
I
certainly
read
has
it
the
through.
the
I was like, did she have
outweigh.
kids? Do they have kids? Looked
Yeah,
back. Yep,
they do,
they
yeah.
have kids. Okay.
She's
There,
been
so
doing
that's
all of that.
multiple. She also works. Okay.
Yeah. Right? No, Adrian, look at
So
you. That's right.
they probably even look from the outside like a happy family. They probably are to an extent. He has probably
Yeah.
been convinced of that,
That's
but
right.
she has probably been putting in 75, 80% of the work of
At
the
least, honestly.
family.
At
And
least.
this first chance at whatever, it could have been this, it could have been like a
Great
family
point.
inheritance, or like when the kids went to college, or like she meets somebody. It's whatever. She's like, I'm done. I'm out of here.
Honestly,
And
that's a great point.
and he is like shocked, blindsided. But this is, I think so many women do this, but I want to caution against it because one,
Yeah.
it can ruin your marriage, and
Say what you want.
you have to face this head
Yeah.
on, the
Say what you
conflict.
mean.
It is a continual process. It's uncomfortable. Otherwise, you're going to quietly resent,
Yeah, that's right.
until you blow. That's what I think probably happens. And then now she doesn't have any credibility. And look at him am
Yeah.
I, on Reddit going on about this. And
No,
then
this is a great
all
point.
the comments are about how much divorce costs. And this was like a
Oh,
really, it had like 20,000, I think, upvotes. It's
shit.
very popular, but I could not find any other comments that weren't like their own divorce stories or about how
Mhm.
much divorce costs.
That's the truth, though, is that
Nobody read through
divorce,
the
like,
comments.
is very inexpensive, and so it would absolutely but it does sound like, first of all, they need to go to therapy. They need to go to couples therapy,
They should have gone a
and
while ago. Yeah.
yes, and so that if what you're saying is true, which is and by what you're saying is true, we can assume that she was taking on the vast, vast majority of emotional labor.
Yeah.
Because that's just typically the way that it is,
I
and the
mean, he's
vast
working
majority of
full
labor with
time.
the kids. Like, so that's 2 jobs, 2
Yeah.
full-time jobs, and he's working 1 full-time job. Damn, Adrian, you really changed my mind on this one.
And yeah, thank you.
I think he's probably the asshole.
I,
You've
or not.
convinced
No, I'm not even saying that he's the asshole because I am honestly thinking about, I know multiple marriages like this in my
me.
life of other people
That
that
sucks.
they haven't all ended. I'm thinking of some that have ended. I'm thinking of some that are still together. I'm thinking of some that may end in the
Mhm.
future. And the common thing, because this is one of my skills is pattern recognition and like
Love it.
system thinking. It's like, I'm going to take the emotion out of this. I'm just telling y'all, heterosexual people,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
common theme in that setup with a man and a woman and kids and working is these old expectations, and then the woman taking on too
Yes,
much
absolutely.
work and not communicate or not ever telling them, and then resenting
Well,
it or
and I think
just
sometimes they do tell them, but that men aren't able to they don't understand.
I
Because
wonder
they've
if it's
never
just impossible.
well, I mean, they've never had to. They probably don't even know what emotional
Their
labor
time.
is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and right, right.
And that's not an excuse, like, they're adults, they can read and learn things, but, like, if your wife is having to tell you, "Can you go to the grocery store?" And then, "Can you go," and then you're like, "Okay, well, what do I need to get?" And so then it's like, she might as well have gone, because
Yeah.
now you're having her like, you need to go to the pantry, look and
Yeah.
see the things that you don't
Take
have, maybe
initiative
some
in your
ideas.
family.
Right, think about what are some meals that we usually make? What are ingredients that we need for those meals? Like, it's not fucking rocket science.
It's such gaslighting that like we're forced to think men are like the big the in charge and they
Oh
should be
god, they're
owning
literally not.
everything. And then when it comes to their family, they're like, "What do I do? What
And
do I do,
honestly, they would be better leaders if they did do emotional and, like,
mommy?"
labor and that
Yes.
kind of thing at the
Yeah.
home. That would make them better leaders, you know?
It's but what do we know? We're just fucking women.
With tiny brains.
Yeah. Oh, you like that? Remember when the future was female?
Oh god, I loved that. I loved because it was like
Oh,
it hit me hard. It hit me
it
hard.
does because it's like a universal thing that everyone understands is now
It's yeah, a symbol
hilarious.
of, like,
The
the
times. And Will, I think this is like, I'm waiting for this validation, but like, will a- anybody ever admit
no,
that? No.
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay. So it's not like I'm honestly waiting for you to be like, no, I saw on this side of the world or not world, but country or internet that, there's this big like, we're sorry, like
No,
yeah, okay. So,
sorry.
check in next week.
Let's keep asking that question every week.
I want you to check your 401ks, the mommies and
Oh,
daddies and
Jesus.
grannies out there.
Jesus. Jesus.
Okay. Well, we've come to the wrap on this. I think we've really helped this man. He
I
just needs
agree.
to
He
come
needs
find
to
us and follow and you know.
yes.
I don't think he's the bad guy either. I think that he
This is
just
a bad
kind of
system. This is a systemic bad guy.
this is a bad setup, a bad family system. It was dysfunctional. It was silently dysfunctional. It wasn't
Yeah.
toxic in the way of violence.
Right, right. But, there's a lot of toxicity that doesn't necessarily end in violence, right?
Yeah.
Emotional violence.
So much. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
Well, and this was like a
not
system.
real.
This was
It
like a bad system that was like a microcosm for a bigger bad system, right? This is like one stamp, an
one
individual
other example
example
in the book.
of the bigger problem, right? I did hear about a good book that was written by this woman for in heterosexual relationships for the man and the woman to both read that says like lays this out in such a way. I have a married friend who said that it changed her total marriage, like that her husband is now like really, really, really has done
Let's
better.
get
But
them
I'll have to look it
a shout
up.
out. Let's get them
Let's
famous.
get them these books.
What's the book
I'm gonna
called?
have to
Not
look it
your
up. I'm gonna have to say it next week. Hold on, let me see.
uh,
Marriages,
it should be called The Unspoken Rule.
fair play.
Fair play. Okay.
Yep.
No need for an author.
Mhm. Let's see what it says.
Not a common two words put together.
Fair play, Eve Rodsky.
A woman, of course. Yeah, I mean, this.
Of course.
Yeah, what
Can you imagine?
I would be and in.
Terrible recommendation if it was written by a man. Uh,
Mistake. All right. Well, let's hear it, girlfriend.
okay, we're going in a different direction. So wait, did we say so we're saying the system for that last one, our conclusion is the system is the asshole? Or we're saying the guy is the asshole?
Um,
And we don't have to say the same thing.
no, I think they're all
Maybe everyone is
I
the
guess
asshole.
I'm hesitating calling them assholes. I think that nobody's the asshole.
Oh, I like that.
They all have just been going through the motions instead
Mm,
of um actually talking about the real stuff. I think this happens all the time. And I think she was just given an opportunity and all of her resentment came out that
Mhm.
she should have talked about. So nobody's, I mean, everyone has to be
Passivity is the
asshole.
asshole. Passivity is
Passivity. And that is passivity. And my lack of being able to say it correctly is also the asshole.
kinda like the
But
way you
passivity, is
passivity.
that right? Is that the way you say it?
Passivity.
Passivity. There
What
you go.
did you say? How did you say it?
I'm
Passivity?
saying passivity.
Passivity? Passivity.
Don't mess me up.
I love it. Okay, okay, here's mine. Ready?
Ready.
The title. Am I the asshole for not letting my boyfriend use my phone charger? So we're taking it down. The stakes are coming down.
Wait, we should vote based off the title, and then we're gonna
Ooh,
have to
I
go
like
back
that.
and then again
I like that.
because my immediate is no.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
my
I
and
like that.
again it's am I the asshole for not letting my
Yes,
boyfriend borrow my charger?
that's right.
No.
That's right. Love it. Okay, here we go. I just have had so many problems with people borrowing my charger or mixing up the charging cable accidentally, in quotes, accidentally. So then my charger doesn't work anymore. I just don't want to deal with this, especially in my own house with my boyfriend! Exclamation point. I wrote my name on the charger so he knows he should use the other two, his own, obviously, or the charger for my tablet. The tablet one I care less about, so he can use, but don't touch my phone charger. So today I go in my room and cannot see my charger in its designated space. I go and ask him, and he says he had to use the cable and now it's downstairs. Mistake one, don't use my fucking charger. Also, why the fuck do I need to go downstairs to get my own charger? Put it back to its place. You just made me walk for nothing. This was mistake two. And I go downstairs and I see two random charging cables on the couch. No idea which one was originally mine, which is mistake three. Why did you mess up the cables? And how will I know which one was mine? I'm so frustrated. Oh shit. I'm so frustrated. And I get even more frustrated because people seem to be fine with these things. So I went and told him this, and he says it doesn't matter which cable was mine. What? Am I the asshole?
I'm so interested in this in multiple ways, reasons because of another discussion we were having before this about our difference in personalities. I would assume that you're someone that doesn't generally care about,
Yeah,
like, you will use anyone's charger and you will let
yeah,
anyone use
that's
your
right.
charger.
That's
And
right.
it's not a fucking big deal.
That's right. But
And you're probably right. And then I
well, I think
also
I'm the asshole. I think I'm the asshole, and I think the boyfriend is the asshole, if I'm honest.
I
And I can
guess
say, but
this
I
is
want to
it's
hear what
all
I want to.
about recognizing people's, I guess, different personalities and their needs. I do think the boyfriend is the asshole, to be
Mhm.
fair. I still think she's not the asshole, but I also have to comment on how this reads. Like, are they brothers and sisters? Like that
It does. That's a good point. It does
I
read
kept waiting for, and mom was, I don't know why, but it sounded like
sort of like me, me. Maybe it's like
maybe it was
White Lotus brothers and brothers.
finale tonight. Thank
And I
you
can't
for
fucking watch it because Eric is working the night shift and I have to wait for him. So I'm going to be desperately trying to avoid.
you. You have to
Look,
stay off your phone
I'm not going to be able to get on anything.
because I think, I mean, it all could be speculation, but I think one of the cast members said something like, people are gonna
Hate
hate
him.
my
I
so
also saw that.
so that just makes me think it's
It's going to
whatever it
be
is, it's gonna
explosive. Ugh. I know. I'm very frustrated, but whatever. I'm going to watch it
I'm
tomorrow.
glad you said that because I won't.
Yeah. No spoilers, please.
I'm kind of. This is one of my favorite. I mean, this is like my favorite season. I think
I agree. And
because
people
it's
are saying
so
that it fell
relevant.
off, and I think that's totally wrong. I think people are not getting it. If you think that this is the worst season, I don't think you're really I'm sorry, but I think all you're
Right.
doing is trying to
Like
figure out who dies the whole season, and you're not, like, actually watching it and engaging with it. That's what
too
I
many people that don't deserve to watch that are have
think.
hopped on.
100%.
And also, do people not realize what kind of world we're living in right now? Like, this is like
I guess
one of
not.
the things we need to just appreciate, no
Yes, and
criticisms,
be
and just
grappling with. We need to be
talking about the
yeah,
real issues,
that's right.
which I love. Like, I cannot wait to figure out like what Piper decides, because is she gonna go back? Well, I just want to know if she's gonna go back to her
Yeah,
toxicity of
right,
the family.
right.
And I don't care as much about the death as much as,
No,
yeah.
no.
But
Well,
anyways,
oh, but I will but just say we may have different opinions about we should also do a separate podcast
oh
about this.
yeah. Oh God.
We could do a White Lotus podcast that would slap.
I mean, and also the Schwarzenegger guy, like, I hate that I mean, he's done such a great
He's
job
perfect, and he's,
of,
like, if anything, surprisingly way less rigid as a character than we originally thought because he's, like I can see him sort of trying to change a little bit,
yeah, okay.
and
I mean,
and I see him
I'm
feel vulnerable
surprised you're
and
saying that.
no, at first I was like, "Fuck this guy. This guy is the worst person on the planet." And quite frankly, I thought I was kinda surprised that Mike White had written someone so flat and
Yeah,
static and so stereotypical, and they flipped the script on us because of course he did, because he's Mike White, and he's feeling, like,
insecure.
vulnerable and
Yeah.
unsure for the first time because of this fucking horrible, weird fucking thing that he did contribute to, so he's not but anyway, that's on our White Lotus podcast.
But he also, okay, all right, fine.
He's not a good dude. I mean, I don't wanna hang out with him, I don't wanna be his
No.
friend, you
He's like,
know?
and he's like the bait and switch, like, oh, I don't know why you don't like me. And like, I want to be spiritual. And then just to try
Yeah, yeah.
to
Well, because I think
come
he
onto
that's all
her.
he knows. I think that's the only way he knows how to relate to people, and we see that time and again that he's making these inappropriate
It's not
sexual
her
innuendo.
responsibility to fix him.
No!
Yeah.
No, and her, she's my
And
favorite.
stop saying that, by the way.
She is my
She is,
she is my
I
favorite.
know. And that's why I'm worried about her.
I'm
That would,
worried about her. I'm worried
yeah,
about her. I'm
it's
worried
got to
about
be
her.
her, Belinda. But we're not here for spoilers.
Belinda, take that money, ask for more when $100,000 is not enough.
No. And yeah, that's offensive. Like,
I would be like,
that's
"Excuse me, 1,000,000.
what a
1,000,000."
mind fuck too. I went around like, oh, just thinking about whether to take it or not, and
Go
then be
take it.
like
I think 1,000%.
insulted at how
Yeah, exactly.
small it is.
Totally.
Like,
Okay,
wait,
but
he's definitely gonna kill me because
yeah, right, right.
yes, okay. So I think that I it is my personality where I very much empathize with the girlfriend of the charger. Back to
Yeah.
this, because I'm someone who thrives on and enjoys being prepared. You might know
Yeah,
it's like the Mary Poppins. Like, I always have a huge bag because I want to make sure I have my water, my chapsticks, my chargers. My
of
chargers
course.
for my chargers, my nail file, like everything in case something
Right.
goes wrong. And that's a part of my personality. And yes, it can be like seem dumb,
Yeah.
or like you roll your eyes at it, but the same person rolling their eyes at it will be borrowing a fucking
Oh,
band-aid.
100,
They're
100.
not borrowing, hopefully, but and I will gladly give it to them.
Yeah.
Gladly. Okay.
You too, you're very generous, yeah.
But if, let's say, I have one band-aid
Right.
and I cut my finger and you've used my last band-aid
And haven't even asked.
and just took it. Yeah,
Did it.
just took it.
Just took
Just
it.
took
Took
it.
it. Took it.
Imagine just from my how my brain is wired and how this girl's brain is wired.
Sure.
She's like had this trouble with these freaking chargers, and she's like, what I
Putting
blanked
the
out,
name
but
on it is hysterical.
yeah, do I mean she's trying.
No, I know,
And
I just love that. I love that detail that she's, like, written her name on it.
like the only other person in the house,
Right?
right? Unless I was waiting for like so my roommates would know as well, or again, mom or dad.
Right. Nope, just him.
But it is soul crushing when, like, yes, you go into your Mary Poppins bag that you've been like lugging around, and but then you always end up hating yourself because you're like, why would you pack one Band-Aid?
Well, that's crazy to have
You should
self-loathing
have
like
chargers
that. I mean, not crazy, I
everywhere
shouldn't
and
say that.
avoid the
That's
conflict.
their fault, not yours, they're adults.
What?
If, like, you instead of going, "Why did I only pack this?" If someone took your thing that you had prepared for and packed, it's their fault, not yours.
Yeah, but it's a way of not having to write this post and like getting mad. It's like you just
Right.
internalize it, you know.
Oh, yeah, right.
Much easier than being mad at your friend or your boyfriend.
Right, right,
So she probably has like a healthier,
right,
outlet, I guess. But uh, he's not respecting
right.
her. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
think
You got
maybe
to be
that's what it comes down.
self-aware.
Yeah.
And
Well, and I
like
think
this is her
that's what it
thing.
is. I think that's what it is for me is that and it's taken me, like, as a younger adult, I was not and I'm still not great at it, but I'm at least I can see it from a different way now, is that, like, you were right in the way that you described me. Like I said, I don't care about
Yeah,
stuff and things in a way that I'm not like, "Oh, I don't care about things." It's more like I'm I'm always unprepared and when it comes to
not your
like
focus.
not like work stuff, but like in my personal life, like, oh yeah, oh, I forgot my toothbrush, I forgot my toothpaste. These are like essential, like first pass things that you put in your bag. Do you know what I mean? These aren't
Yeah,
like the frills. Like I will forget the most basic essentials. And so but I'm, I like I said, I don't care. I'm not focused on the details. I am not a
you
details.
also wouldn't complain about that ever.
No, no,
You
and that's
just
the
deal
truth.
with it.
I wouldn't complain about it, and I would go figure it out,
Yeah,
but, like, I think for me, it's what you're saying, it's almost like understanding that you're not the only person in the world and that everybody
yes,
doesn't operate like you,
right. And
because
accepting
I
that.
can't assume that just because I don't give a shit about chargers, that Eric doesn't give a shit about chargers. He actually
Right.
does, and we have had similar conversations.
And his name is on all of his.
His name is not on the chargers, but he will be like, "Amy, where's my charger?" And I'll be like,
Yeah.
"Which what do you mean your charger?" Because I'm kind of like, at this point, it's
Our
all
chargers?
no baby. But but I do understand like how frustrating it must be. I mean, I don't understand it, but I can sympathize. I can't empathize perhaps, but sympathize with like, oh, this person is just like willy-nilly having to use my stuff. They're not appreciating the fact that
Right.
like I took the time to bring it or I took the time to make sure that it was here and safe and they just use it and they don't care and they're not respecting my stuff, aka they're not respecting me. I guess that's the kernel. And
Yep.
I am like, I don't care if you respect my stuff. That doesn't have any I don't
That
find
doesn't mean
anything to me,
that's
but
how
that
I feel though.
also I have to exactly, I have to understand that just because it doesn't matter to me doesn't mean that it won't matter to somebody that I care about, and so I need to be more thoughtful about, "Okay, wait a minute. If I can just plan, if I can just take a couple more minutes
Yeah.
and plan, then I won't have to be a burden on this person in a way that I know, while it wouldn't bother me, we're not the same people, and it
Right.
does bother them." And so that's why I think that me and the boyfriend are both assholes.
No, and it's self-awareness too.
Well,
It's
I mean,
is it
self-awareness of
empathy or
empathy,
it
I think if I can't I don't know, I should know this, hold on. Empathy
no, I mean like
okay.
I got it.
Both
Whatever it is that have it. Like I can see both sides of
actively sharing in their emotional experience while sympathy expresses concern and compassion without necessarily sharing the same feelings. And so
well,
that's
I
why
don't
I
know if
made the
it's
difference.
either. I just
Oh, I
can
see.
see through I can see through your eyes and
Right.
understand,
That's empathy, I guess.
yeah, that your brain works that way and
Right.
I don't care or like I understand it. Like it doesn't bother me. I know that's your natural way. And the only thing that would bother me about this is when people let deny whatever
Mm,
they're like whatever side of the coin you're on.
yes,
Like
that's
if
right.
you come in every time without your fucking toothbrush and
Right.
like
Which is
every time you're like, well, no, I would say no, I don't think
okay.
so. But instead, oh, I never do this. God, I can't believe this
Ah,
happened.
yeah,
Like
that's
I'm
right.
so prepared. I'm such like
Yeah,
an uh
that's gaslighting.
yeah, and that is the only time I'm just like,
Yeah, I could see that that would be very annoying or very upsetting.
but when people are their natural ways, whatever. But she needs to talk to him and maybe not the internet about, and
Like,
maybe she
yeah. Well,
has,
and
but like, hey,
I
this is
also
important to me.
I agree with her that with him understanding this about her, he has fucked up kind of multiple times because like if you went and took her shit and she's asked you not to do that in the past and you've done it again, like get up off your ass and go down and find her charger and bring it to her. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
just make the
you
extra effort.
make a little extra effort if you know that literally asked you in the past not
Yeah.
to do this one thing and you do it and then you're like go take, like yes, that's pretty fucking irritating, I would say.
I'm now realizing my dad did this with hairbrushes growing up, which is
Really? He
so
would take your
funny.
hairbrush?
No, I guess we did it to him. There, because you think about it, three daughters, a mom,
Mm,
four women,
right.
and he like would brush his hair and had his hairbrush. And if you couldn't find yours, who do you know? Oh my God, this is a whole new thing. Who do you know is going to have their brush in the same spot, like their charger, in the same spot every time?
That's the thing, you gotta move your shit around. We're realizing something. If you don't want people to take your shit, you gotta move it around. It can't have a home base.
So you got to write her back, like, you thought your name would do
Right.
something. You haven't looked into locks.
Girl, you've gotta have it can never have it's gotta be moving, 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 moving all the time.
You
It
should
never
just
sleeps in the same place twice.
move out.
Totally. Totally. I just have had an idea.
What?
What if we link to our podcast about these posts in the comments for the post? Like us discussing who's the asshole, linked our recording into the comments.
Do you realize genius happening when it's happening? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's genius because, like, to me, I don't know if other people, like content creators, would be like,
Like, what are they doing? Like, who the fuck are these? But
gold mine
yeah.
idea. That's amazing. And also thoughtful because they really need to know, right?
Yeah. I think they need to know like what we're, you know, what
Say,
what we've decided is the truth.
yeah, it was ultimate. I mean, it saves a lot of time skipping the comments, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be the same amount of time, but it's listening, not reading.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe people won't listen to it, but maybe people will.
Oh, they will. Ugh. Yes.
I mean, we are very insightful.